Libra, what's going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Libra love reading. Today we are going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here in November 2025. So let's get started and let's get one card for what's the mutual point of interest between Libra and their romantic person of interest here in November 2025. What's going on with you, Libra? What's going on with Libra as it relates to their romantic person of interest and the connection between them? Okay. Not going to let me finish my sentence. I'm cool with that. What's going on with your person, Libra? What's going on with Libra's romantic person of interest as it relates to Libra and the connection between them here in November 2025? These are coming together, okay? What do we have here? All right. A lot of fire over here in your person's energy. All right, let's see. The overall energy of this reading is the Eight of Swords. This is Gemini energy. This is about being stuck in your head, grinding on something over and over and over again on like this repeating loop in your mind. It's about not really being sure what the safe step to take is, not wanting to make a mistake and do the wrong thing, but having to think about it a lot here, probably feeling stuck and trapped and blocked. Let's see what else we got. Right behind that, we have the Two of Wands. This is Aries energy. This is a fork in the road. It's a crossroads in this relationship, probably a crossroads in your life. It's a decision point, and it's a decision about what is it you want your life to be like? What do you want your world to be like? And which of these two paths is going to get you to that? But it's more than just which path am I going to choose to go down, because you can't turn left and right at the same time. So it's a decision about what path am I going to go down and what path am I going to leave behind. Okay, and behind that we have the Five of Pentacles. This is Taurus energy. Fives are conflict. This is abandonment. This is being cast aside, being left out in the cold, being discarded, walked away from. This is a breakup kind of an energy. Sometimes this can be a devastating loss, like a financial loss, a loss to like material possessions or physical stability in some way. But this is usually a breakup here. So we got the gist of this is somebody stuck in their head grinding on something, not sure what to do. I got to make a choice in my life about what do I want. And it looks like we've had a breakup here. That's the gist of what this is going to talk to me about. We'll come back to that more as we go through the reading. This mutual point of interest is shared energy that affects both of you in some way here in November 2025. Doesn't always affect you the same way. Sometimes they do this and you feel the consequences, or vice versa. Sometimes they say or do something and it makes you feel or maybe act this way, or vice versa. Sometimes it's legitimately something external that's affecting you both, but that shared energy is the Knight of Swords. This is the fastest moving knight in the deck. This is very fast forward movement. It's about making this rapid, decisive action on something. Usually this is the kind of an energy that doesn't think things through first. This is usually really spontaneous, spur of the moment, impulsive, reckless kind of an energy. This is usually someone who just goes and does something without thinking about it, and they don't think about it until after it's too late. I hate saying this, but sometimes this gets referred to as a narcissistic kind of an energy here. So I'm going to clarify that. Tell me about this Knight of Swords. Why is that the shared energy between Libra and their person? Okay, what do we have? That was quick. All right. Underlying this Knight of Swords energy, Ten of Wands, Sagittarius energy. This is a heavy burden. It's something that's weighing you guys down. It's holding you back. It is a 10, and in tarot, 10s represent completion. So this is supposed to be the completion of carrying this heavy burden. In other words, this is supposed to be the spot where we lay this burden down and we move on without it. Not sure that's happening here. Right behind this burden, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. This is a singles energy. This is a step backwards from the Ten of Pentacles that we all want. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but the Ten of Pentacles came out in the clarifiers here in the shared energy. This is a step backwards from that. This 10 of Pentacles would be about like combining lives together, building a life together. I get that card for people when they're married, when they're engaged, when they're living together, when they're going down that path toward combining their lives together and making a life together. And this is a step back from that. It's physically single, physically independent. I don't need you to physically or financially take care of me. Like, I can handle that on my own. Well, we've got the breakup showing up here 3 cards deep. Oh crap, maybe I didn't go deep enough. I have the Hierophant right behind that. That is a marriage card. This is Taurus energy. That's an energy of like commitment, being fully committed to the relationship. Again, that's like something I get a lot when someone is married or fully committed to the relationship. But I've got some sort of a burden here, either about being single. Maybe you don't know what to do now that the breakup has happened. But this Knight of Swords is a little bit odd here, because that might be, I get this Nine of Pentacles a lot for someone when they're not actually single, but they kind of present themselves in the physical world as if they're single. So there could be some burden attached to someone acting single when they're not. I would probably guess it's this person based on what I'm seeing out here. But yeah, right behind that Nine of Pentacles is the High Priestess. This is she who knows. This is your intuition. This is gut feelings. This is signs, synchronicities, a dream that has a message in it. This is some form of internal knowing where you know something, only you don't have any actual way of knowing it. Usually this comes with like no facts to support it. It's just a feeling that I'm having where maybe I can't even put my finger on exactly what it is, but I know something is off here. This could just be your intuition telling you that someone was acting single when they're not. It could be what this Knight of Swords is talking about. Somebody ran off and did something that a single person would do when they're not single, and they didn't think about it until it was too late. When I clarify Knight of Swords, I get 7 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles. 7 of Wands is Leo energy. This is a defensive energy. This is defending my position, defending my stance on something. Sometimes this is being willing to fight for something that I believe in, fight for something that's important to me, fight for something that I want, fight for the connection. Sometimes this is just defensive energy, as in like, no, I didn't do that. It can be either of those things. Next, we have this 10 of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy. This is the combined together life. It's maximum stability, maximum abundance, maximum prosperity, combining together of 2 people, 2 families, all their assets and resources to build a life together. So there's this idea here of wanting to defend that, wanting to protect that, wanting to fight for that. But then we also have that 5 of Pentacles again. Second time I've seen this. I've seen it in both decks now. Taurus energy. 5s are conflict. This is abandonment, being cast aside, discarded. This is a breakup energy. When you leave a marriage or a combined together life, you typically don't get to take all 10 pentacles with you. You normally get to take half of that, which is what I have here with this 5 of Pentacles. So we're going from the combined together life to half of that. I got that burden about being single here. Not looking pretty so far, Libra. I will freely admit to you, it is not uncommon whatsoever at the early stages of these readings that I don't fully grasp what this is trying to tell me yet. I will come back to this as I go through your energy, because then I'll be able to see more clearly how that applies to you. I'm going to come back to it again when I go through your person's energy, because then I can see how it applies to them. That's the shared energy here in November 2025, Libra. Your energy, the first card, is the most important. You get this 4 of Cups. Central to your energy is the 6 of Cups, and your final card is the Hermit. 4 of Cups is Cancer energy. This is about not being fully happy or content with what I have right in front of me, so much so that I'm daydreaming about this other cup, this other thing that if I had that, it would make me happy, or at least I believe it would make me happy. The 3 cups that are sitting in front of the person, that can indicate I'm not, the 3 of Cups, I guess I should tell you what it means. It's about being together. It's about being united and celebrating, or being reunited and celebrating, and maybe not being happy with being together. Maybe not being happy because we're not reunited yet, and I'm daydreaming about that, distracted by that. Another thing that the three cups can represent is a third party love triangle, because there's three cups of love in the picture, and that could that other cup hanging in the air could represent the new person. Maybe I'm not happy because three cups are in the situation and should only be two cups, and I can't get that other person out of my head. Sometimes this is a case where maybe there's a love offer on the table already and it hasn't been accepted or rejected yet. It's just kind of been left hanging here in the air with nothing really being done about it. And maybe I'm not happy about that. So I'm going to clarify what this is trying to tell us. Why is the Four of Cups the first card for Libra, please? November 2025. I'm here. Well, underlying this Four of Cups energy, Eight of Pentacles, Virgo energy. So I've seen the 10, the 9, and now the 8 of Pentacles. All three Virgo minor arcana cards. This Hermit that's out here is your final card, is the Virgo major arcana card. You might be dealing with a Virgo. You might be dealing with any sign. This is a general collective reading, so it's going to be almost impossible for me to pin down exactly who you're dealing with as an individual person, because I'm not really tapping into your specific energy as an individual person like I would if I was doing a personal reading with you and it's just you and me one-on-one. Here I'm tapping into thousands, maybe tens of thousands of Libra people all at once. So I'm going to continue to call these signs out as they stick out to me, just in case they mean anything to you. But this is Virgo energy of work, putting in the work, putting in the time, effort, and energy on something to get what I want, or at the minimum, being willing to put the work in. Looking like I'm not happy because we're not together. And this is probably the willingness to put the work in on it. But then there's this idea of being stuck in your head and grinding on that over and over and not really being sure, is that the right move to make? Maybe feeling stuck and trapped because there's some choice that you have to make here about what you want your life to be like. Probably already had a breakup of probably a pretty heavy duty commitment here, whether that's marriage or engaged or just living together or believing we're going to go down that path. There's this idea of wanting to work on it. Behind that energy, though, is the moon. This is fear, worry, and anxiety, usually from uncertainty. I guess this is Pisces energy. If you think about when the moon's out, it's dark outside. It's really hard to see the full path in front of you. It's easy to get kind of turned around and mixed up and not be sure, is this the right path for me? Was this even the right path for me to begin with? Is putting in the work and effort on this the right thing to do? And having that level of uncertainty can cause fear, worry, and anxiety in a person. The other thing the moon can represent is a secret being kept, something being hidden in the dark, something you don't know about. Yeah, I got that Four of Cups right behind it again, more Cancer energy. That's the card I'm clarifying right now. Not being fully happy or content with what I have and daydreaming about the thing that would make me happy. Again, that could represent the Three Cups down here, could represent a third party was involved and now I can't get that person out of my head. Take that part however it applies to your situation here. But we do have the moon in front of it, which could indicate that maybe you don't actually know one way or the other. But I did see the High Priestess down here having that feeling that where I know something that I don't actually have any way of knowing. That intuition is really hard for a lot of people to trust it because we don't have facts. And plus, 9 times out of 10, your intuition is going to tell you something that you don't want to hear. You don't want that to be true. And with no facts, it's kind of easier to push it off to the side and pretend like, no, I don't want that to be true. I'm not going to listen to that. The problem is it's usually not wrong. When I clarify that Four of Cups, I get the Nine of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and Death. The Nine of Wands is Sagittarius energy. This is a walled-off defensive energy. In tarot, there are 2 defensive energies, and I have both of them out here. 7 of Wands, 9 of Wands. This is also an energy of healing. This is the wounded warrior, and he's been hurt. He's got a bandage around his head, and he's built this wall around himself as a way to protect himself. It's a defense mechanism. It's, I don't want to be hurt again, or don't want to continue to get hurt, hence the wall here. So this can represent that you've been hurt, that your guard is up, that you're trying to protect yourself. It could even just represent that there is some sort of a barrier in the way for you. Ace of Cups is next. This is a new beginning in love and emotions, as in a new person showing up, some new thing. Now, I guess this could represent wanting to fill the cup back up and start over at the beginning, start over at square one in terms of love and emotions, but maybe there's a wall in the way. This Ace of Cups is the thing that's kind of hanging here in the air in this Four of Cups that I'm clarifying right now. It could also be that the thing that's in the way here is a new person has shown up. And it might be that because the final clarifier for that Four of Cups is death. This is Scorpio's major arcana card. This is an ending to something. It's something dying. And at the end, there is some sort of a painful transition period that follows the ending, some sort of a painful transformation process taking place. Looking like we got a new cup of love showing up and killing something here, killing the connection. Central for your energy is the Six of Cups. This is more Scorpio energy. This is the card of the past. It's thinking about the past, reminiscing about the past, thinking about the good old days and the way things used to be between the two of you. It can represent a deep emotional connection. It can represent history in the connection. It can also represent something from the past coming back up again or happening again, or even a person from the past showing back up. So this could indicate that there's history between the two of you. It could indicate that something that happened before is now happening again. This could just mean that you're doing a lot of reminiscing because you're not happy and the connection is ended, and we still have this energy of wanting to work on it, but also this energy of potentially not knowing exactly what the hell's going on here. Tell me more about the Six of Cups. Why is that central for Libra's energy here in November 2025, please? Taking both of you. Okay. Oh my. Well, underlying the Six of Cups energy, the Tower. This is a foundation rocking event. This is the collapse of some important structure in your life, whether that's the collapse of this relationship. It could be that. It could also be the collapse of a belief system that you have, like this mental model of the world you've been operating by, where I believed it was going to be this one way. Like, I believe we were going to have this commitment, get married, have our lives built together here. And now something has happened to maybe shatter that belief. This is the game-changing moment. Like, after this point in time, nothing is the same after that. Right behind the Tower, I have the Ten of Wands. Sagittarius energy of a heavy burden that you're carrying. It's something weighing you down and holding you back. So we're burdened by the ending here. It's also, we're burdened by the intuition. I have the High Priestess right behind it again. So I've seen the High Priestess, I've seen the Moon, and now the High Priestess again. Those cards represent intuition. Either one of them can represent that there's information you don't have yet. It hasn't been revealed to you yet, and I've seen them both. This is the second time I've seen this one. So there's probably something going on that you can feel but haven't actually seen yet. We've got the Queen of Cups right behind that. That would indicate this is Cancer energy. This is the most intuitive queen in the deck. So I've got two cards in a row of really powerful intuition. Your intuition is probably trying to clue you in on something here. The Queen of Cups is the only character in the deck that has a lid on top of her cup, and she does that as a way to protect her emotions from getting contaminated. Now, I have seen this happen before too, where she's trying to keep a lid on her intuition because it's telling her something she doesn't want to be true. What she really wants to do is take the lid off of her cup and pour her love into someone, but she has some reason to be guarded here. Been hurt. Seeing the Nine of Wands as your very first clarifier. So I don't know if this is you trying to protect your emotions and still wanting to pour your love into this person regardless of what's happened. Maybe you don't actually have the facts to support what you feel has happened. Maybe this is your intuition is telling you something you don't want to be true, and you're trying to keep a lid on that and not listen to that piece of yourself. That would explain why the intuition feels like a burden here. But there has been a collapse, and I'm guessing that you may not know exactly why it collapsed based on this Hermit card that we're going to clarify next. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. When I clarify Six of Cups, Seven of Swords, Eight of Cups, Queen of Wands, Page of Wands. Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy. This is lying, cheating, stealing, deception, sneaking around behind your back trying to get away with something that they shouldn't be trying to get away with. It's probably what this Knight of Swords is about. They ran off and did something they shouldn't have done, didn't think it through first. Now, because this Seven of Swords, this is like a deceptive, cheating kind of an energy, it's tied to the past. That could indicate it's someone from their past that they were sneaking around with. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic partner from their past, like someone that they used to be with before you, although it can mean that. It can just represent that it's not a brand new person. It's someone that they have some sort of a history with. This could also trying to be telling me that in the past there was this lying, deceptive, cheating type behavior, and maybe this is a repeat of that happening, like that thing from the past coming back up again. Either way, we've got here in that first column the new cup of love being a barrier for you, and here in this first row we've got lying, deceptive behavior being something that's in the way. Probably being something that hurt you as well, that you feel like you need to protect yourself against. The next clarifier for the Six of Cups is the Eight of Cups, Pisces energy. This is emotionally detaching, physically detaching and walking away. The person is walking away from 8 full cups of love because it's just not good enough for them. So sometimes if this is talking about what happened with your person, this could indicate that they thought maybe the grass is greener on the other side of the fence and they just had to go find out. In that kind of a situation, usually what happens is they find out the grass is not greener on the other side of the fence, and a lot of times they try to come back, and because I'm clarifying Six of Cups, that can be a person from the past trying to make a comeback. So we could have that happen in here, or this could just be that they detached from you and walked away and went and did something that they shouldn't have done. The other thing that this can represent would be advice for you. And in that case, this would be telling you 8 cups is the best you're ever going to get with this person. And if you want your 9th cup, your own happiness, if you want the 10 of cups for real, where you're with someone and you're pouring your love into them and they're pouring their love back into you with the same intensity that you're pouring it into them, and everyone's happy and fully loved and appreciated, you ain't going to get that here, because 8 is the best they can do. And this is about recognizing that and then making the difficult conscious decision to walk away from what you have to go down a new path in search of your own 9th and 10th cup. I've got that sitting right beside the Ace of Cups here. So new cup of love shows up. They probably detached and walked away, probably after they were already being deceptive. Next, we have the Queen of Wands. This is Aries or Leo energy, depending on how you view that. This is the fire element queen, aka the hot queen. This is someone that there would be a lot of attraction to, a lot of passion and desire for, probably some sexual energy toward. 9 times out of 10, this represents the other woman. And that's sitting right beside death here. So the thing that killed this is the new cup of love. The thing that killed it is this other person that there's attraction to showing up. And I would guess that it's not some brand new, like a stranger. I don't think they ran to the bar and met some brand new person for the first time and stuff happened. It's probably someone they already know. Now, if it is a case where I do have Knight of Swords here, very impulsive, reckless decision making here, didn't think it through first. If it is a new person, this would probably be telling me that instead of it being someone from their past, it's probably telling me they have a history of behaving that way. Final clarifier for Six of Cups is the Page of Wands. This is news and messages and communications about passion and desire, passionate messages being exchanged. This is also the minor arcana version of the Fool. And the Fool is about taking this blind leap of faith on something new where I'm not really even going to think about it. I'm just going to go for it and I'll figure it out along the way. Can represent foolish behavior. Well, this is like a toned down version of that kind of an energy. This is more someone who has the willingness to take the very first steps down a brand new path towards something they have passion and desire for. It's connected directly to this Queen of Wands, this hot queen, this person that there's passion and desire for. Not looking good with Seven of Swords in it. When I go back to the shared energy, there's this defensiveness. That's probably them going, no, I didn't do that. Five of Pentacles, there's breakup, abandonment. I've got Eight of Cups here, detaching and then physically walking away. Final card in your energy, Libra, is the Hermit. This is the Virgo Major Arcana card. This is a card of withdrawal, isolation. Usually it can represent communication shutting down, like we're not talking anymore. If we are still talking, it's different than it used to be. It's fewer and farther between. I get this card a lot. It's about being forced inside yourself to do soul searching and deep inner reflection and deep contemplation, like trying to figure out, what do I do moving forward from here? I got all this Eight of Swords, thinking about something over and over again and not sure what to do. I got this choice about what do you want your life to be like, and this breakup to a commitment that has happened here. This could be you doing soul searching. The Hermit is not usually a voluntary energy. It's not like we just wake up one day and go, oh, it's nice outside, I think I'm going to do some soul searching today. Something happens and it forces us into that. Things that can cause that are the Tower that's staring at me right here, Five of Pentacles, abandonment, breakup energy. Death can certainly cause that when it's the death of a connection. Hell, Seven of Swords, lying and cheating can cause that, especially if there's a history of it. Now the other, like I was going to say, I get this card a lot when someone gets ghosted, where like the person just abruptly leaves and you don't really have any answers as to what the hell's even going on. You don't have any closure in the matter. So let me clarify that for you. Tell me about the Hermit. Why is that the final card here for Libra in November 2025? Well, underlying this Hermit energy, Four of Cups. That's what we started with. That was your very first card. I saw it in the clarifiers in the underlying energy. Cancer energy, not fully happy or content with what you have in front of you. This could be you're waiting on them to like make their love offer to you and they haven't yet. This could represent that Three Cups are involved and I'm not happy with that, and I can't get that other person that they brought in out of my head. I can't get that other person out of my head. That could be what you're in here grinding on over and over again. Right behind that, I've got the Two of Cups, more Cancer energy. This is a connection between two people, a romantic connection, an emotional connection. But it's a two, and in tarot, twos are choices. So this is some sort of a choice about this connection. It can even represent a choice between two different people. So the Six of Pentacles, Taurus energy. This is supposed to be balance. It's supposed to be generosity, reciprocity, like you scratch my back, I scratch your back, we take care of each other, equal give and take. It's supposed to be that. The negative side of this card is it can represent the Merchant here, which would be your person giving to two different people in the physical sense. And notice one of them is kind of behind his back a little bit. Could be that you didn't actually know this was going on for a minute. Probably more felt it than saw it happening. But it's here. And it doesn't look like you're communicating anymore. Maybe you're just doing soul searching about that. Maybe you just don't have any closure yet. When I clarify the Hermit, I get Judgment, the Devil, Temperance, and the Ace of Swords. Judgment is the most powerful decision card in the deck. In a relationship reading, this is passing a final verdict and judgment on the relationship. And that judgment is either A, this is dead and over with and there's no coming back from it. I've got death out here. The other thing it can represent is resurrection. You can see the angel is playing this horn and she's raising the dead. She's calling the dead back to life, bringing it back from the grave. So it could represent reconciliation. It does not look like that's what's happening. There's this idea here in the shared energy of either being defensive about something or wanting to fight to protect something or fight for the connection. I see history between the two of you. I see at some point combined together life before the breakup between the two of you. But I also see a new person showing up, lying, deception, detaching and walking away, probably to go toward the new person. That looking like it's dead and over with, and maybe not having any closure for you to be able to decide if it's dead and over with or not. That could be another thing that you're stuck grinding on. What do you want your life to be like? Maybe wanting to put the work in on it. I did see the Eight of Pentacles there in that first column in the underlying energy. But next, to clarify the Hermit, I have the Devil. Capricorn Major Arcana energy. This is heavy toxic energy. This can be obsession. This could be an obsession with trying to resurrect it. This can be an addiction. This can be a feeling of being trapped by something, feeling like I can't escape from this, feeling like this has so much pull to it that I can't break free from it. This is usually a toxic attachment. It's not a healthy thing, that's for sure. The people on the card are the same two people from the Lover's card, but here they've got chains around their neck and they've grown horns and tails because they've been in this toxic environment for so long. It's distorting who they are. It's changing pieces of who they are. The important thing to note about this is the chains around their neck are actually big loops, and they could just pull that loop right off of their head and leave anytime they want. They just don't know they can. Their head is in the loop. And here, overall energy, my head is stuck in that repeating loop here. So this could be obsessively overthinking about it, obsessively grinding on it, obsessively grinding about the judgment, like it being called dead and over with, not getting closure on the matter. There is this detached energy right beside that. Again, as advice for you, that would be telling you this connection isn't healthy. There's a level of toxicity to the connection itself. There's probably a level of toxicity to what they did, especially with Seven of Swords, New Cup, the hot fire element queen here, with death all tied to that. Breakup, abandonment. This could be telling you that this is not a healthy connection. And in order for you to get your actual happiness and actual true love, where the other person is pouring into you the same way that you're pouring into them, you're going to have to free yourself from this. You're going to have to emotionally detach from this toxic thing. Take the chain off your neck, take your head out of the loop, and walk away from it. The other thing in that row is a New Cup of Love. So yes, this person could have some toxic things that make them cheat and sneak around and do stuff and bring a new person in. This could also, like I said, be talking about filling the cup back up, starting over from square one with this person after the breakup, like getting back together. So I've got two cards in your energy that could indicate getting back together. I've got a card central for your energy that could indicate reminiscing about it, the history of it, maybe feeling stuck and trapped because there's history. But this would be telling you the idea of filling that cup back up is not healthy. It's not a good thing. It's more like a toxic attachment than it is something that you should actually want. And I think that's what the Hermit is trying to tell you. You need to search your soul about that. This is about having the courage to shine your light down into the shadows of yourself, to go in there and looking for these unhealthy things, these things that are actually running the show. This could be unconscious patterns that you have. It could be some unhealed attachment that you have, some sort of an unhealed wound that you have. And it's telling you to go in there and look for that, because the devil energy only has the power over us that we willingly give to it by refusing to face it. And the hermit is about having the courage to go in and face that stuff, to go find that shrapnel and dig it out, to kind of free yourself from that. Next, I have temperance. This is Sagittarius Major Arcana. This is sometimes patience. I do have history here, so it could be a case where stuff like this has happened before and you've tried to be patient here. But again, it feels like you're being told to go look at this idea of patience, because that's probably not healthy for you in this case. You know, everyone makes mistakes. And sometimes you have to be patient with somebody when they're learning something, for example. But when somebody's making the same mistake that they've already made and they're lying to you, patience with that is counterproductive. Patience isn't required in that. What's required is this sword that I'm going to get to next. The other thing temperance can represent is, in tarot, water represents love. And here the love has been separated into two different cups, and she's trying to recombine it back together. So this can represent reconciliation in that sense. I've actually got two cards in this column that can represent reconciliation, getting back together. But what's right in the middle of them is the devil, that toxicity, that attachment that's not healthy. And even right beside, in this row here, I've got death, the Queen of Wands representing the other woman. And this idea of being patient isn't good in that scenario. The idea of blending it back together, she's in the way. The fact that it's dead is in the way. This toxicity is in the way of that. This is really a recalibration energy. And it indicates that something is way out of whack here. And this is about like recalibrating it, rebalancing it back out, getting things back to being just right again. This should not be a recalibration of the relationship as much as it should be a recalibration of you, of your emotions, of your internal state, a recalibration of your mind. Because here, this is way too much mental energy. That's like being stuck in the loop and I can't control my thoughts. My thoughts are running me and I'm just grinding over and over and over again. Recalibration of that, not the connection. Final clarifier here for the Hermit is the Ace of Swords. This is the sword of truth, the sword of clarity. It's the sword you make decisions with. The Latin word that the word decision comes from literally means to cut off. This is the sword you make decisions with. It's the sword that you would use to cut something or someone out of your life. That would be the way to recalibrate this. It's you deciding. See, I got this idea here that could represent, I don't have closure. I don't have the answers. But you do have the truth. The truth is that they split. This is a breakup. The truth is a new person got brought in and that killed the connection. The truth is there's this other person here that killed the connection. The truth is they were lying, cheating, deceptive, sneaking around. There's probably been a history of that kind of behavior. You have all of the truth you need to make a decision. And still having this Four of Cups as your first card, the most important card, and it's still staring at me from the underlying energy for this Hermit card, that almost feels like I'm waiting on them to either give me closure or I'm waiting on them to give me what I want, which is the new cup where we can start over on this connection back at square one and get the connection back and balance the connection back out and go back to working together as equals to build something of value with this Three of Pentacles here. I even have the card of work right behind it again. Virgo energy, putting in the work, time, effort, and energy. We're being willing to do that. But the moon is behind that. Fear, worry, anxiety, uncertainty, something being hidden in the dark, something being kept from you, a secret being kept. And way below the surface of all that is the Star, which is Aquarius major arcana. This is a card of hope. Sometimes hope is the only thing that gets us through. But then again, sometimes misplaced hope, false hope, that's the chain around our neck that stops us from getting our head back above the water. It stops us from being able to breathe. It's the thing that keeps us stuck in our head and keeps us from being able to make a decision about what we actually want for our life. Because if you're still hoping for this toxic thing to somehow magically be recalibrated, be blended back together, be brought back to life, that seems like very counterproductive hope. So I'm hoping it's not that. This is the sword of clarity, the sword of truth, the sword you get to decide with. This is looking an awful lot like you're waiting on them to decide to come back and fix this. And it's looking like you need to take the first step down a new path toward the truth and toward the sword that you would make the decision with. That's your energy in this connection here for November 2025. Let's take a look at your person's energy and see what's going on with them. The first card for your person is the most important. They got strength. Central for your person's energy is the Five of Wands. And their final card came out as two, the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Wands. All fire energy. Fire is passion, desire, sexual energy. I got defensiveness, fire energy out here. I've got a person who probably ran off and took some decisive action on something they didn't think through first, or maybe they're just a straight up narcissist for all I know. Take that piece however it applies. But the strength card is the Leo major arcana card. This is sometimes about going through a really difficult situation that's taken all of their internal strength in order to make it through that. More often than not, in a case like this, it's a person trying to contain this beast inside themselves, trying to rein that piece of themselves in, hold themselves back so they don't make some kind of a mistake. The lion here, or a tiger on this particular deck, would represent that internal urge or impulse or desire and trying to contain that part of myself. It looks like they were not able to contain that part of themselves with that Knight of Swords here. So I'm going to clarify this and tell me more about what this strength card is about, please. Why is that the first card for Libra's person? Notice all of the cards stayed in the deck face up, and I have to go dig it all back out. I guess not all of them, but half of them did, which means they're only telling you half of the story, or at least only telling you a part of the story. Maybe that means you only have a piece of the information, and getting anything out of them is like pulling teeth. Underlying that strength energy, Four of Swords, Libra energy. Fours are stability, and swords are about the thoughts, the mind. So this would be stabilizing the thoughts, stabilizing the mind, trying to calm my mind down. It's about going inside myself to either heal something or to do some thinking about something. It's kind of like the minor arcana version of the Hermit card, except with the Hermit, you didn't really have a choice. You got kind of forced into it. And this is a choice. This is sometimes taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break. I get that card a lot when we've had a breakup, but we don't really want to call it a breakup. So we just say we're on a break right now, like we're taking some time apart to figure it out, to think. I need some space, kind of a thing. Yeah, and in that time, we have the Tower show up. Again, foundation rocking event, the collapse of something important in your lives. This is the moment where it all came apart, probably during a break. I don't think they could contain themselves. Yeah, what's coming apart is the Five of the major arcana. I saw that 4 cards deep, right behind the Five of Pentacles, the breakup energy. There's the Hierophant from the other deck. This is Taurus energy of commitment, being fully committed to the relationship, taking it to the next level, engagement, marriage, that kind of an energy. And there's a collapse to that during a pause, during a break. When I clarify strength, 9 of Pentacles, High Priestess, 6 of Swords, and Justice. Man, I'm getting drained feeling. I keep catching myself trying to yawn, and I'm fighting it and holding it back. This 9 of Pentacles, we've already seen it. Virgo energy, a step backwards from this 10 of Pentacles. Now I've got the 10 of Pentacles combined together life in the shared energy. I've seen the Hierophant at least twice now. I have no doubt the two of you work together. So this person isn't single. This person is presenting themselves as if they're single when they're not. And I don't think they can contain themselves here. And then while they're doing that, there's your intuition, the High Priestess, showing up over here, where you have the feeling, where you know something, you just don't have any way of knowing it. This is your intuition, gut feeling, signs, a dream. It's some form of internal knowing where you don't actually have the facts, you just know. Then I get the 6 of Swords, Aquarius energy. It's happening again. Sorry. It's about moving forward into calmer waters. It's about leaving these rough, choppy waters of the past behind and moving forward. This card carries some implications with it. First, it's the 6 of Swords, and that implies the 5 of Swords has already happened. The 5 of Swords is either a betrayal or a big fight, or it's a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event happening. And at this stage, that's already occurred, and I can't change the past. The only control this person has is in going into the future. And what do I do moving forward from here? And that carries the other implication. Am I going to carry the burden that this painful thing has caused into my future with me, so it keeps weighing me down and holding me back? I've seen the burden a couple of times in the underlying energy, that 10 of Wands. Or am I going to carry the lesson that I learned from going through this painful thing? Oh my goodness, person, what are you doing to me here? Am I going to carry the lesson forward so it doesn't happen again? I don't think there's a lesson being carried forward. I've got defensiveness, which is almost like, no, I didn't do that. But they did do that. And they didn't even think about it first. And I think you knew, not physically knew, not saw it happen. It's not like you got them on video doing it. But you got the High Priestess here, so you knew. Maybe you didn't want that to be true and couldn't prove it, so maybe you ignored your intuition. But the painful thing has already occurred, and this is them moving on. It's a moving away from kind of an energy. And even the way it's laying on the table, the energy's going that way, away from where you are. Then I get the Libra Major Arcana card, Justice. It's the most powerful card of balance in the deck. Oh my lord, this person is making me want to yawn constantly. This is about doing the right, fair, just thing. The sword that's in the card is this Ace of Swords that's over here on your side. And here it's used to cut away something that's not in balance, so balance can be restored, and then the right, fair, just thing can happen. Like what's supposed to happen can happen. This card shows up when something unfair and unjust is happening, and this points out the need to correct that. There's something unfair about them leaving this behind and moving forward. Probably what's unfair is the fact that the 5 of Swords has already occurred here at this stage. Normally this goes in chronological order, where this first column is something that's already happened, and the closer I get to the end of their energy, it's like the more and more current we're getting. So at this stage, the painful thing already occurred. It's probably why I've got what could be a history of deceptive behavior, lying, cheating, sneaking around kind of stuff. Central for their energy is the 5 of Wands, Leo energy. Again, 5s are conflict. I've got one in the shared energy. We've seen the Hierophant in both decks. That's the 5 of the Major Arcana. I just referenced the 5 of Swords has already happened at this stage. So there's a lot of conflict here. We've seen the Tower at least twice. This is usually an internal conflict, like a conflict in my desires, where a piece of me wants this and another piece of me wants pretty much the opposite. And now I'm torn and conflicted, and I'm pulling myself in different directions at the same time. It's a really scattered energy. It's like playing tug of war inside what do I want. Tell me about this Five of Wands, please. Why is that essential energy? Underlying Five of Wands. Six of Pentacles. Again, this is Taurus energy. This is supposed to be balance. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. We take care of each other. It's supposed to be equal give and take. But in this case, it's representing the merchant here, your person, giving to two people in the physical sense. They're with you. Ten of Pentacles, combined together life. Seeing the Hierophant multiple times. And I've got them presenting themselves as being physically single when they're not. That's where the internal conflict comes in, because they've got you, and then they've also got this other person behind their back, which is probably why you only have the feeling about it and not the facts about it. When I clarify Five of Wands, I get the Moon, again, Knight of Pentacles, and the Emperor. The Moon, we've seen it before. Fear, worry, and anxiety from uncertainty. I'm internally conflicted. I don't know which one of you two I want, and I'm uncertain about that. It's also, like I said, something being hidden in the dark, some secret being kept. That's why they've got the other person behind their back. They're hiding the fact that they're presenting themselves as being single when they're not. And again, like I said, the High Priestess or the Moon, either one can represent, there's just some stuff you don't know about yet. You didn't get all the facts. It hasn't been revealed yet. It's still being hidden. And I've got both of those energies again now. Both of them now actually on the table in your person's energy. Which is explaining why justice is here. The unfair thing that needs corrected. If you're with someone, you're not supposed to be keeping secrets from them. You're not supposed to be bringing a new person in, which leads me right to the next card, Knight of Pentacles. Slowest knight in the deck. Now that's very stark contrast to this fastest knight in the deck out here in the shared energy. So I don't think it's talking about slow movement. Although it could be in the sense that you're probably expecting to hear from them, maybe expecting communications about getting back together, but that's so slow moving, it's like nothing's happening. The other thing this can mean is a person who knows what they're supposed to do, but they don't for some reason. He's got the Ace of Pentacles, but the fields are empty because he hasn't bothered to plant the seed. Can also represent a person who knows what they're not supposed to do, but they do it anyway. He's not supposed to just sit there, but that's what he's doing. I'm not supposed to have two people, one behind my back. I'm not supposed to keep secrets. I'm not supposed to keep secrets. That card is tied to both of the secretive energies here. I'm not supposed to present myself like I'm single. I'm not supposed to have this new cup, sneak around, have this other woman. There's a lot this person's not supposed to do that they're doing. And then I get the Emperor, the Aries Major Arcana card. This is a card of control. Actually, there's two cards of control in the tarot deck, the Devil and the Emperor. I don't think for a second this person is actually fully in control. There's something controlling them. That's what this beast is that they're trying to contain. That beast is in charge. This toxic element of them is actually running the show. But they try to present themselves as if they're fully in control of what they're doing. This is the person who makes the rules, who calls the shots, who dictates policy. They put the barriers in place. There's that very first clarifier for you, Nine of Wands. The barrier that's in the way is this Ace of Cups, this new beginning that killed everything. This is the person that's running the show. This is the person who's doing the moving away from kind of an energy here. Final card in your person's energy came out as 2 Knight of Wands, 9 of Wands. Knight of Wands is the second fastest energy in the deck. The only one faster is the Knight of Swords. Man, this person is draining the crap out of me. This is that wishy-washy, in and out, back and forth bullshit kind of an energy. This can be that person who comes rushing in all passionately and tells you everything you want to hear just to get what they want, but then they take off and go somewhere else and run that same game over there too. This gets called the player of the tarot deck quite frequently because it's that person who's running back and forth between two people and playing both of them. It can also be someone who's non-committal, even though I saw that Hierophant a couple of times. It can be the person who starts out really gung-ho about something, and at first they say and do all the right stuff, but then they change their mind and go a whole different direction. So they're non-committal in the sense of they can't stay true to what they said they wanted. They keep changing their mind, which goes perfectly with this internal conflict here and this idea of like struggling to contain a piece of myself. That's a whole lot of passionate energy, rapid forward movement in passion and desire, rapid passionate action. Also with this 9 of Wands, that's a whole lot of wand energy too, a lot of passion, desire. Again, Sagittarius energy, walled off, defensive energy. I got defensive energy out here in the shared energy. Oh my goodness. I think this is them putting barriers in the way. Tell me more about this Knight of Wands, 9 of Wands, please. Come here. Underlying that energy, 4 of Swords again. Taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break. Maybe that's what they told you. Maybe that's why I see all this potential reconciling type of an energy over here and you being stuck in your head. This also affects them, stuck in their head about what do they want, and they're conflicted about what they want, and maybe they keep flip-flopping back and forth and then putting barriers in the way. Maybe you don't know what they want because they haven't told you and you haven't gotten any closure, but this is looking like a break again, where maybe they're just telling you, no, we're not actually broken up, even though that's what's occurred. Maybe they're just telling you this is a break, where it's a break in the connection, a pause in the connection, the commitment here. Strength again, underlying that. Them trying to tame that beast inside themselves, rein themselves in so they don't make a mistake. 10 of Wands. That answers my question now about, are they carrying the burden forward with them when they move on? Or the lesson, is that going forward with them? They're not carrying the lesson, they're carrying the burden. The burden is that piece of themselves that they can't control. When I clarify Knight of Wands, 9 of Wands, the Tower, Page of Swords, 8 of Swords. What's this, the third time we've seen the Tower now? The collapse of something tied to this Knight of Wands, back and forth player kind of an energy. It's also tied right here to the Moon, the thing they're hiding from you and keeping secrets. Also in that row is them acting single when they're not. That is the part that killed it all. We saw that over here with Death being tied to the new cup of love they brought in, Death being tied to the other woman that they brought in. Next we have the Page of Swords. This can be news messages and communicating, although I don't think that's happening because the Hermit is here. I've got the barrier that they're putting up as a way to protect themselves, probably from getting seen as the player. This can be an energy of someone who's trying to learn something or figure something out, can be spying, snooping, investigating, digging for information. Hell, what I'm doing right now in a tarot reading, digging into your energies, trying to figure out what's going on, that qualifies as the Page of Swords. Maybe this is them being stuck in their head and grinding on you figuring out what's going on. This usually represents someone either uncovering information on purpose or by accident or someone telling what's happening. It's in the row with the high priestess. Like, they know that you have a hunch, that you have a gut feeling, that your intuition is telling you what's going on, that they're doing stuff they're not supposed to be. Maybe this is you actually find it out at this stage, or maybe they're worried and grinding on you finding it out. Either way, that's what's next here, this Gemini energy of the Eight of Swords, which again is the overall energy of the whole reading, stuck in that repeating loop in my mind, grinding on maybe what is it that I want. But what they want led to a breakup of this commitment. And what's behind that is Seven of Cups. Shit. Options and choices and confusion about my options and choices. There's clouds of smoke around the cups, which is like obscuring your vision, trying to stop you from seeing it. I get that card and the High Priestess together quite a bit, because that means the person has these other options and they're acting on those other options, and you know they're doing it, but it's just a feeling. It's not actual facts, and they know that you don't have the facts. So I get that a lot together when the person knows you don't really know, and they're trying to cloud everything up for you so you can't actually figure it out, so you can't see it. Maybe they're trying to make you doubt yourself. And right behind that is the Devil. Man, that's the toxic energy here. We've got that already out here on your side of the table. This person has parts of themselves that they can't control. They can't contain it. Page of Swords is right behind it again. That's the last card I just took a look at there. I think they're worried that you're actually going to see something, unless you already did, but they're stuck in their head grinding about something, and in that row is them leaving it behind and moving forward, moving away from, trying to be in control of everything and grinding on that repeating loop and not wanting to make a mistake. The one card on their side that has nothing to go with it is Justice, your major arcana card. And that card points out the unfair, unjust, unbalanced thing is going on that needs corrected. I don't see it getting corrected with this person's energy.